Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Jillian Berry, and today we have another incredible guest for you guys. We have Harmony on, and she is actually on day 98 of a 100-day juice cleanse. It's incredible. And she actually has Lyme disease. So we're going to talk to her. She's been taking the health route to see if she can get some healing, and we're going to find out what exactly has been going on there. How has she transformed her life? So I cannot wait to get right into this. And I just want to say none of this is medical advice, of course. I just share other people's stories on this channel. And I do encourage everyone to take the right path for them, whether that's the medical route or the health route. So let's hear Harmony's story and what exactly is going on with her. Give this video a big thumbs up right now. Make sure you subscribe if you don't already. And hey, Harmony, what's going on? Thanks so much for being on the channel for me and my viewers.
Hi, Jillian. Thanks so much for having me on. It's good to be here.
Yeah, you are so awesome. So day 98, how are you feeling on day 98 of only juices?
It has been a road to get here, I'll tell you that, but I feel better today than I have in years.
Wow,
It-
I just had one green juice before our call because green juices make me feel incredible. So I usually have one before an interview. And I
yeah,
can't, but day 98, look at you. How have you made it this far? Like, how have you been starving? Have you had cravings? What is the deal?
yeah. So I'll tell you, the first 30 days was like a trial period for me. I fell off the wagon more times than I could count. I didn't really feel like I knew what I was doing. And I had a support group that I signed up through Raw Vegan Heroes. But I didn't really know anybody. I was the new person and everyone was kind of integrated. And I was like, well, where do I fit in this whole mix? I was having a really hard day during the first 30 days where I said, I just can't do this. And I had to be reminded of my why and why I chose this as the healing modality, because I was told by my doctor in January, there's nothing else we can do for you. The rest is going to be up to your body. And unfortunately, your labs don't look good right now. I've been very sick most of my life, and it took that much time to find out that I had neurological Lyme disease. When you get to the point where I was at and it crosses into the brain, it's very difficult to come back from that. And I got to a point where my nervous system completely crashed. I went through a year where I was unable to speak. I was in a wheelchair. I developed Bell's palsy, which impacted the entire left side of my body. I couldn't hold a fork to my mouth and I couldn't take care of myself. I had to quit work. My whole life completely just became a standstill. And I've been treating Lyme right now for about 4 years. And to hear my doctor say, I have nothing else to throw at you, I have nothing else to give you, was one of the most discouraging things that I've heard. So I went home and I said, I have two options here. I can either put the nail in my coffin and wait for my time to come, or I can do something about it. I can step out of the box, so to say, and start looking at what else am I missing? And Raw Vegan Heroes, Shane, who runs it, he has been on my Facebook for a while. I've been following him. I've done the back and forth with the vegan diet, and I was even raw for a little while, many, many years ago. But reconnecting with Shane and seeing his videos and just feeling so inspired, I said, well, what else do I have to lose? I've tried everything else. I've been on antibiotics. I've been on natural remedies. Nothing's working anymore. And I need to get my life back. I mean, I'm young enough that I still have many milestones that I want to accomplish in my life. And at the time, I didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel, but I said, you know what, I'm going to try. So I signed up for Raw Vegan Heroes, and as many people that sign up for that program know, you do want to start with the juice cleanse for as long as it takes for the mucoid plaque to come out or until you start feeling better. Usually that takes sometimes between 30, 60, 90 days. For me, it took a while. It really took a while to start getting into the gut and through the years of antibiotics that I was taking for Lyme and really just getting it all out of my body. And I still feel like I have a long way to go. So I'm at my 100 days soon. I'm very excited for that milestone. And I wonder at this point, do I keep going? Because when you've been sick for as long as I have, you don't just like, bloop, you're healed, boom, you move on with your life. Healing is a lifetime journey. It never stops. It never goes away. I feel like detoxing and healing my body is one of my biggest passions right now, because it's through these modalities that ultimately are saving my life. And I see it in the results every day. Since I've been juicing, I have more time in my day where my brain doesn't feel like it's on fire. I feel a lot of inflammation that's just been reduced in my body. I sleep better. My skin is better. I'm more mindful of how I interact with people, my mental health. I mean, it's all encompassing with this healing. And it's really driving a big passion for me to help other people with either chronic Lyme or other health issues that don't have those resources of knowing what else is out there, what else is outside of the box. So it has been a crazy last 100 days. I will tell you that there has been so much growth and so many moments of really testing my own inner strength, knowing like I can do this, like I have the capability to heal. And I went from not being able to talk or walk, and now I walk 5 miles a day with my dog.
Wow, almost like gives me goosebumps. Unbelievable. How have the people around you must have been noticing massive changes in you, right? Have they all been supportive then?
For the most part, yes. My husband is amazing. He's actually going to be starting this same program in the fall once his busy season at work dies down. He's really excited to, get that healing too, because he sees me being like wanting to spread my wings and fly. And he was the one that was my primary caregiver when I was too sick to take care of myself. So
Mhm.
he's watched me go from my lowest moments in life. And now I'm thinking, let's go back to work. Let's go back to school. Let's go do something with the time and the health and the freedom that I'm regaining through this lifestyle.
Yeah, and you might not be in a position to say that, right? Like, "Let's go back to work, let's do this," had you not chose this path, right, of the juicing right now?
Exactly. Exactly. I was in January, I was using an ambulated walker to get around with a seat. And some days I still need that on bad days, but those bad days have become so much less. I've been seizure free for 6 months.
And how long was the longest you'd go, like, without a seizure before?
A day.
Wow, no way.
I was having them
Unbelievable.
daily. I was
Uh,
having them daily. I would have had a frequent flyer card at the emergency room if they had them, because I was constantly in the hospital. I had
oh,
stroke-like symptoms, I think like 4 times within a 3 month span, that paralyzed my whole left side of my body. My face became completely droopy. I couldn't use my hands to hug my children. I was a prisoner in my own house because I could not, the outside world was just too much for my immune system. And then COVID happened.
mhm.
So it was just, one thing after another. And it was like, well, I'm not going to, sit here and just wait to die. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that. I knew that something out there was going to help me, and I just knew. And feeling as good as I do now, I have absolutely no regrets. And every hard day that I've been through the last 100 days is absolutely worth it, because it lets me see what's possible for me and for so many other people that may be struggling, that don't know that, nutrition is the biggest key in your healing.
Mhm. I agree. It can do so much. I really feel like we truly are what we eat in so many ways. And
Yes.
for anybody that doesn't know, like, how do you get Lyme disease?
Lyme disease is usually caused by getting bit by a tick, but it can also be caused through other insects like spiders, mosquitoes, things like that. And the thing with ticks is that sometimes they're as small as a poppy seed. So you may not know that you've been infected until you're really sick.
Unreal. Wow. This just must have been so upsetting to you to get this. What and sorry, I can't remember if you said, but when exactly did you get diagnosed with it?
I was diagnosed back in 2019. And honestly, it was a big sigh of relief, because before that, I had been to 30 different doctors in a year, trying to figure
Wow.
out why I was sick, why my hair was falling out, why I had chronic fatigue, why I was having these issues, why no matter what diet I tried, I couldn't lose weight and my body was just holding on to tons of inflammation. And all the doctors said the same thing: your labs are fine, go home. Here's some medication, go home. And I would
Wow.
take the medication and not get better. And I went through 30 different doctors. And finally, there was a doctor that said, maybe you're just stressed out.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just stressed out. I mean, so I literally at that point went home and I said, I don't know what else to do. Got on the computer, started doing research. A friend of mine said, why don't you go to a naturopath?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I didn't really have the money for a naturopath. Those are not cheap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we found one that was in the Valley that's actually one of the best in the entire United States in this field. And I called him up and we said, what do we need to do to make this happen? Now, while all of this was going on and I was incredibly sick with Lyme, my husband had also fallen off of a roof at work and broke both of his legs.
Oh my goodness. It all just came down at once.
Yeah. And neither one of us could work. We were both just like keeping each other afloat. We were living off of credit cards and selling pretty much all of our possessions online because we knew that the doctor that we were seeing was going to be the doctor to help me to finally get answers. And they did these tests that I had never even heard of. And then they came back and they said, unequivocally, you have Lyme disease, you have
Wow.
co-infections, you have mold toxicity, you have Epstein-Barr virus. I mean, there was like a 45-page list of foods that I was allergic to or
Wow.
sensitive to. And so we just dived really deep into treatment. Now, I will say that since then, I have been able to introduce foods back into my diet. And I think that that's a direct result of juicing. Like, for instance, on the juice protocol, we are told to have citrus in our juices. Before, I was never able to have citrus. It would give
Mm-hmm.
me massive heartburn for days. Now I drink like a gallon of citrus every single day with
Yeah,
no problem.
it's truly amazing how much our gut can change. Before I went raw vegan, I was severely allergic to gluten. After I removed it out of my diet, like I would be in bed for
Mhm.
5 days. And then a couple years into being raw, I had some by accident. I had some gluten. I had no reaction at all. So it's
That's
crazy how much
amazing.
like the gut can change and the body can change. It's
Right.
just incredible. So do you feel happier now? Like, do you feel happier now than you did before the juice cleanse? And do you feel like maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel and maybe all of this like negativity with regards to the health and like these bad things happen for a reason and maybe it's like meant to take you down like another path and maybe perhaps like you're a bit grateful that it happened or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before I got really sick, I wasn't looking into healing modalities like this. I wasn't looking into the natural side of life. I wasn't really putting myself first. I will tell you that through all of this and through my healing, I've become incredibly more aware of mindfulness and how my reactions to certain things in life impact my healing. So I've really put my mental health at the forefront now. I set boundaries with people in my life. I'm incredibly diligent with the things that go into my body. I look at food just differently now. It's interesting because a few weeks ago, I went out to dinner with some friends and watching them eat the food that was coming out, which wasn't vegan to begin with, but just watching the food that was coming out and them like almost being hypnotized by it. I remembered like I'm a lifelong food addict and I remember like that hypnotism, that draw to like compulsive eating. And now I
Mhm.
just look at it so much differently. I look at food as, this is medicine, this is fuel, this is nurturing the body in the best way possible by giving it what it truly needs. And as a result, my body thanks me for it by giving me a good night's sleep and absolutely having hope for the future that anything is possible. Through all of the suffering that I've gone through and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel through this healing, I'm going to be able to pay it forward. And I'm going to school to get my certification in colon hydrotherapy so that I can help people with other healing modalities that are outside of juicing, that are natural, that I have personal experience with, that helped with my healing through Lyme disease. It's just been such a blessing to go from where I was to where I am now and be able to tell my story to people who may be struggling and just starting out. Healing is not linear. There's many layers to this. And like I said, it's going to be a lifetime journey for me. And I don't even think my juicing journey is over either. I'm still contemplating whether I want to go another 20 days or so, and see where that takes me. If I feel this good right now, I can only imagine how the next 20 days is going to go and beyond transitioning to fully raw.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you know, a little while ago, I interviewed a woman named Sarah Erica. Have you heard of her?
I
So
haven't.
she was having a lot of health problems. I think she was even in a wheelchair. And she tried juicing after trying like a lot of different things. And she ended up doing a 365-day juice cleanse.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, so she went from being in the wheelchair to at the end of the juice cleanse running a marathon. And I put that video into the interview. It would literally made me cry. It was like, so she's someone you might want to talk to and like get in touch with. I can send you her Instagram and I'll link with that video below. But it was so inspiring because she did a long time. I'm not saying like do a year because like that's a long time, but you got to do what's right for you if that's what you want to do,
Right.
whatever. But yeah, and I'm wondering, so what are you drinking in a day to feel so good? Like, what has been your juicing protocol? How much juice are you drinking? Do you feel like you're getting all the nutrients you need? Because I know some people get concerned with a juice cleanse. Are you getting everything you need? And have you done any lab work at all? And what's going on, or like recently?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to be having my labs done with my doctor next month. That was a big goal of mine, is that at the end of the juice cleanse, I wanted to get my food allergy testing redone, and then all of my panels for Lyme and my viral load, because it was so high and really wonky before. I wanted to see, where those improvements were so I can reflect on that. What what I've been doing up until about a week ago is the lemon ginger blast. And I took a break from that because it's the final week of Juice Fast Mastery and the close of my Juice Fast. And so I wanted to do something to treat myself,
Mhm.
for making it this far. But up until then, I've primarily done lemon ginger blast, and it took me quite a while to work up to the full 4 liters a day that gives your body enough calories to feel good. The first month I was not fully committed. The second month I was all in, and then the detox started. And I was like, whoa, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Especially
It was,
emotional detox, right? Emotional
yeah,
detox can be the hardest on a cleanse.
it was. It really was. Well, the liver is the wheelhouse of emotions, right? So as you're detoxing your body, the liver will start to detox, and then these emotions just run haywire. Now, I grew up with very little financial abundance until my teens. So I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to have to ask for food from caregivers that may not have your best interest at heart to feed you when you're hungry. So I had to work through those really big feelings through this cleanse of feeling almost childlike and very small again, being hungry, knowing that I have a choice in the matter, but still going to bed hungry every night. Those first few weeks were by far the hardest, but when I came out on the other side of it, the second month, the hunger pains started going away. The detox really started kicking in. My face broke out. I felt like I was 16 again with all of the acne. I was like, oh my God. But it just kept getting easier to manage. And all of these different breakthroughs were happening that I was like, wow, I can do this. Like, I'm going to keep going and see how much further I can push it. Now, for the first like 45 days, I wasn't doing citrus. I was just working up to my 4 liters a day of lemon ginger blast and drinking water whenever I could. Then I got brave one day and I said, well, let me try just orange juice. And that was a really bad idea because it just didn't sit right with me. Then a few days went by of just lemon ginger blast again. And then I tried citrus pineapple with clementine. It was the most delicious thing I ever had. And it stayed with me really well. And I got this huge burst of energy and just feeling really happy. So much so that I kept doing it and doing it. And then I reached out to my doctor and I said, I've been doing this for several weeks with the citrus juice. I don't feel like, I feel like the juice is helping my mental health more than the actual medication is. And I said, can we talk about maybe like tapering down some of these meds? And that was several months ago. And I'm officially off of all of my behavioral health meds for anxiety and depression. I find that lemon peel for me works really well for, just having a better day. It's like sunshine in the biggest form of fruit. I add lemon peel to all of my juices and it just makes me feel so good mentally,
Wow.
physically. I get this clarity. It also helps really good with detoxing the biofilm out of the gut. So I've been putting tons of lemon and lime peel in all of my juices and making them really astringent whenever I can. And then I started working up with the citrus juice, and now I drink a gallon of each a day.
Wow, I've never heard that about the lemon peels. That's interesting. So you just don't like you put a little bit of the peel or you just don't peel the lemon at all?
I don't peel the lemon at all. So in the lemon or lime peel, there are terpenes like limonene. It's similar to cannabis if you've ever been in that realm. Cannabis has terpenes which help your anxiety and depression. Well,
Wow.
lemon and lime have the same type of terpenes. They're kind of like in the same family. So eating lemon peel, there was like a viral TikTok that went around a while ago, and that's what gave me the idea maybe I should juice this. People were eating lemon peel and saying this is great for my anxiety and depression, and I was like, maybe there's some truth to that because I
Wow.
wasn't feeling any better doing anything else. So again, what do I have to lose? I felt this raw, just like energy from the lemon peel. And so I gave up coffee and I started having citrus juice every morning. And now that's part of my everyday routine. My husband has given up coffee. He's like, I need to have my citrus juice in the morning or I'm not happy. And I've even got him juicing probably about 50% of the time right now too. So
Wow, this is incredible. This is why I love doing these interviews too, because I just learned something new from everyone. I didn't know this about the lemon peel. So I love that. And I can tell it's working for you. You're so convincing. I was literally thinking I'm going to go buy lemons after this, make a juice with not peel it anymore. So that's great. And that's easier. You don't have to peel the lemon. It makes it
right,
easier, right?
right.
So you talked about getting off antidepressants, right? Correct?
Yeah,
Good for you because I've known people have been on them and they've tried and I've never personally taken them, but I have heard that they can be very hard to get off of.
yeah.
So, do you think that part of the reason you were able to get off of them was because the juicing just makes you feel so good? I think that maybe it would have been harder to get off of, right? Had you not been juicing? Because good for you. Way to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, juicing, it's given me such a different look on life, on myself, on what's possible. You know, I have energy now that I haven't had since my 20s. You know, I'm planning things for my future. I'm going back to school in the fall. I'm doing so many different things that I never thought was possible. I mean, you can't really do much from your bed when you have chronic fatigue and you're sick all the time. And that was literally every single day of my life for years. And I don't
Wow.
want to go back to that.
Well, look at you, a new life, right? This is so
A new
exciting.
life.
I feel excited for you and for what's ahead for you. I feel good about this. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Me too.
And have you experienced any weight loss? I know people will wonder, so that's why I'm asking on the
Yeah.
juice cleanse.
I did. Not a lot, but for me, I walk so much that I base my weight loss in clothes size versus pounds because I think the scale is a dirty, rotten liar. But I did lose about 40 pounds on the juice cleanse over 100 days. I lost 2 dress sizes, which I think is phenomenal. But one of the biggest takeaways is that all the inflammation in my face is virtually gone. I had such a big, fat, puffy face from all the inflammation, and most of my gut that was like out to here has gone down so much that like my husband is in smaller clothes than me, and I'm like this close to being able to raid his side of the closet. He's like, stay away from my clothes. I just went and bought myself a whole bunch of new clothes because nothing fit. I've yeah, I'm really excited about that. Weight loss is always a good thing, but for me, it's about the healing and how I feel.
Yeah, everything to me is about how you feel. And do
Yeah,
you feel like this has been a deep spiritual experience for you? I know when I did a juice cleanse, I did 37 days and I felt super spiritual, super just connected. So has it had that impact on you at all?
definitely. I'm much more aware of my body senses than I was, just a few months ago. I've also been looking into other healing modalities for, just that mind body connection, like somatic breathing. I went to a workshop not too long ago for somatic breathing, and it made me feel just so connected to the earth and to myself. And I feel like like we say all the time, your body is your temple and what you are is what you eat. When you put things into your body that cloud your vision, it's hard to connect to source and feel that connection to yourself and to other people. I find that as my healing keeps on going through this journey and I meet people that are of that same like mind, I'm incorporating all of these things that I would have never thought to do before, like meditation, yoga, breath work, and all of these things really just make me feel more grounded. I find myself not necessarily praying, but just having more moments of mindfulness during the day that I didn't have before.
Amazing. And who or what have been your greatest inspirations along this path?
Really having the support group that I've been welcomed into through Raw Vegan Heroes has been amazing. The group of people in there is so inspiring because we're all in different paths in our journey. We're all in different areas. Some are juicing, some are getting ready to wrap up their juice cleanse, some are, you know, raw vegan veterans, so to say, and have been doing this for a really long time. And that has been really encouraging through this process because the sense of community that you're not doing this alone, that your why does have value, no matter what that why is, has been crucial to getting through the last 100 days.
Yeah, community is so important. Having those supportive people who love you and support you, whether they're online or in person, I feel like so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if somebody is out there and they're going through a hard time, like how you were before you started this journey, and maybe even a little bit some days now, but you've come such a long way. It's so magnificent and amazing. And I feel like you're just headed in the most positive direction. But if somebody out there still feels like they're in a negative slump, whether it's for health or like anything, and they're just in a bad spot, like, do you have any advice for them to like keep them going and encourage them and sort of give them hope that maybe there is light at the end of the tunnel for whatever they're going through?
Well, my motto in life is if you're going to do it afraid. So don't let the little things become big things and stop you from doing what you want or need to do. I find that there's people that I've met over the last 100 days that tell me that, oh, well, I'm just waiting for this person to get on board and then I'll start juicing. I'm going to
Mhm.
wait for, don't wait for anyone else to take your own life into your own hands. We have one life. And until you have that taken away from you and your freedom taken away from you, where all your only option is to stay in bed, you don't know how precious of a gift it is to have your freedom to go live your life while you can. And
Mhm.
you don't want to wait until someone else gets on board to validate your worth for your healing. You're worth it now. Do it on your own now, even if that means you have to do it afraid. I've had no one on my side except my husband for the last 4 years, and I've had to do it on my own afraid. And if I hadn't, I'd be dead by now. So if you're going to do it and it's worth it to you, do it afraid. It doesn't matter who's on your side or not, do it for yourself.
And I'm so happy you have your husband and his support is just amazing, thank God.
Absolutely.
And I'm wondering what improvements have you noticed on the juicing? Like maybe have there been some improvements that you noticed that you never expected to improve and that have just shocked you?
Honestly, it's how much better I feel in my head, my mental health. I didn't expect to feel that much clarity when it comes to my mental health. I feel like I can really map out a good foundation for the rest of my Lyme treatment. I didn't think that I'd feel so good so fast either. And I know that 100 days seems like a long time, especially when you're in the thick of juicing and you're like, God, I'm so hungry. I just want to eat. When is this going to be over? But now looking back on it, I'm like, God, now I'm going to have to meal plan and do all of these things that I didn't get to do before. So yeah, it's just been a huge roller coaster of stuff to go through. But I have no regrets. I'm completely amazed at how good I feel. I'm amazed that so many people that are following my journey are genuinely interested in wanting to better themselves and follow that same path too. So, I'm on Instagram at Lime in the Coconut. So if you ever, need a friend or you have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always here for whatever. If somebody is just starting this journey and they're not really sure where they fit in, or if you're having a bad day and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to go eat that thing, don't eat that thing. It's
Mhm.
not going to be worth it, because let me tell you, every time that I fell off the wagon during this juice cleanse, it didn't make me feel good. It just reaffirmed why it's so important for me to get to the finish line.
Mhm. Absolutely. And have you released any mucoid plaque on the juice cleanse?
I did, but I didn't release as much as other people. And that's the other thing I wanted to just say real quick. If you are starting this process and you are going to judge yourself based on other people's releases, you're going to be miserable the whole time. Your body and Bob Smith's body and Joe's body, we're all different. Okay. So for like me, I had a little bit of a release and then somewhat of a large release, and then it was gone. People I know that released several times throughout their journey, big releases. Some have been on it for 45, 50 days and haven't released anything and are frustrated. Your body will get there when it gets there. Follow the protocol as closely as you can, because that's really what's going to make you succeed. The moment that you fall off of that is the moment that your body starts reverting back to those old habits. And you want to make sure, what you're doing is moving forward. Digestion begins in the mouth. Some people say, I'm going to chew on this and spit it out so I can get the feeling of hunger. Your body will start breaking the fast if you do that. Just remember those little things that will equal big things if you allow it to, and just keep moving forward, even on those hard days. Put routines in place so that you're successful. Prep your juice in advance. Set boundaries with the people in your life. Go to bed early on your bad days, or find a distraction that keeps your mind away from thinking about how hungry you are. Because if this was easy, everybody would do it. This is not going to be an easy thing to do at first. It takes practice. It takes a lot of undoing of a lifetime of poor conditioning by the world, equating value to food,
Mhm.
all of it. So just be gentle with
So
yourself.
much
Yes.
emotional too for the way we eat, you know?
Yes, there's so much emotion. And that's the other thing, is that, learning to break that cycle makes you so aware of the times when you're feeling upset and you automatically want to go for that food or that whatever vice to make yourself feel better. When you're done with that vice, that problem is still going to be there, just like any kind of addiction out there. Food is a hard one because you have to eat to live. And there's people out there that sometimes, lose that sense of self-control. This juice cleanse, if you really tap into your inner self and focus on yourself, you may be able to see the patterns that start that addiction so that you know how to undo them in the future.
Mhm. Absolutely well said. And I'm wondering, where do you see yourself 1 year from now?
Oof. I don't really think about that. I take things usually one day at a time. But ideally, I have some things in the works with regards to education and going back to work. I'm hoping that I'll be able to drive again soon, because I have not been able to drive in several years. And yeah, so my healing is going to keep moving on and moving forward. And the more I heal, the more freedom I'll have to be able to go out there and enjoy life.
Well, amazing. You're so beautiful inside and out. And I would truly love to have you back on again in the future to share updates on your healing, where you're at.
Yeah.
And is there anything you feel called to end off with to say to the viewers? Any inspiration that comes to mind? And if not, that's okay too. And also, I will link everything, your Instagram and everything down below so everybody can go follow you.
Yeah. The biggest thing I can just say is, and I've said this throughout the whole process of going through the cleanse and getting ready to transition, is just keep moving forward. It's okay if you stumble and fall a few times along the way. We're human. That's what we do. But don't stop there. Don't plant your feet in the ground and say, oh, this is easier, because easy doesn't mean better. You have to, anything in this life worth having, you have to work for. And you're absolutely worth working for and putting in the time for. And doing this, taking care of yourself, is the biggest act of self-love that you can give yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
keep
Absolutely.
going, keep moving forward. Find your community, find your people during this process, because those are going to be the people that will help see you through.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well said again. Well, thank you so much, Harmony, for being on, for sharing your story, your inspiration, your wisdom, everything you've learned. And I'm excited to hear more from you and follow what happens. I see only positive things ahead for you. And to the viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe if you don't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Love you.